Hello, welcome back to the 3D Drawing View Model Railway. In the last lesson we mirrored over this half of the bogie, so we've got a complete side frame now. Today's lesson I'm going to look to mirror across the other direction, checking whether we've got enough room for wheels and things like that, and then we're going to potentially start to look at adding maybe a couple onto the front so that we know what sort of space we've got before we start adding details around in the front or the rear of the bogie. Okay, so getting started, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mirror the bogie itself. So we're going to select the body and mirror plane. We're going to use one of the ones we were using up the top here for the mid planes. Let's work out which one we need. Yep, that one, plane 1. It's going to be on mid plane. I'll mirror it across. So we've now got both sides of the bogie. Let's do some checking to make sure we've got enough space coming across for the wheel set. So we know realistically we need 13mm between the bogies, so we might have to just space these out slightly to give us a little bit more room in there. Yeah, that's something we're probably going to have to do. So we need about another 0.5mm. So if I just come back before this mirror that I've just done there, and I'm going to move that body. So if I come down to the body here, move copy, and then if I've got looking at it face on, I can just select this face here, and I'm just going to come out minus 0.2, no, minus 0.3 actually. That'll give us just that little bit extra space in here, so we should have about 13.2mm now gap. Yeah, that should be enough room to get a wheel set in there. Yeah, so I'm happy with that position. So if we close that measurement, we've now got, as I said, a 13.2. Next thing really we need to check, see if we've got enough room for wheels. Now, looking at the wheel itself, it's quite a small wheel, and it fits within the whole of the bogie at the top and the side. So you see you've got this bar going across. Now, I believe the smallest wheel I can get hold of is about a 5.1mm diameter wheel face. When you add on the flange, you're looking at about 6.1, 6.2mm. So if we draw a wheel on the inside here, so if we create a new body, and we're going to draw on the back surface of the bogie here, just creating a circle, pick the midpoint up of the axle box here. I'm going to just create it 6.3mm, and that will give us the surface area of the wheel. Let's just select a whole of it and extrude that. I'm going to create it as a new body just so we can turn it on and off. Okay, so looking at that, you can already see we've got a bit of a problem here. This wheel's much bigger than the bogie, and that is a 5.1mm wheel. Let's just rename that so we don't get confused. So we're going to have some compromise with regards to what we can or can't do with detail wise. I'm just going to actually copy that bogie. I'm going to mirror it. I'm going to mirror it on this plane that we've got down the middle of the bogie there. That was 6, wasn't it? I think, yeah. So we've got the 2 wheels on there. So you can see where we're going to have to lose some detail at the front and back of the bogie. Now, unfortunately, that's a necessary evil. If you've got to do it, you've got to do it. It doesn't look like we need to cut into the underframe at all above it, so that's a good thing. But yeah, we are gonna have to make some compromises, unfortunately. Okay, so let's start with joining the cross brace across the bogie here. So I'm going to create a sketch. I'm going to go on the inside of the one with the wheel on that inside surface there. I'm just going to turn that body off so I can actually see what we're looking at. Let's project the profile of the side frame. I'm going to go at line. I'm going to draw a line. Actually, no. Let's do a rectangle, I think. Go from those two corners up to the top. Okay. Then I'm going to extrude that. Turn that body back on over to that one and tell it to join. Okay, so what do I want to do now? I want to make a bit more strength on the inside here, I think. I'm just going to open up this a little bit, so creating a sketch on this inside. I'm going to use a centre point rectangle, find the midpoint along the bogie here, the midpoint down the middle. I'm going to go for something about that sort of size, I think. I want to stay away from where the axle would come across. Okay, so I'm going to go for 5mm wide and 8mm, 8mm long, I think, something like that. And what else am I doing? Do I want a line coming out? Thinking maybe I do want a line like this. Yeah, I think I'll do that. I'll do 40 degrees. I want that to snap to that surface. I'm just going to draw a line here. Coming, so turn that straight on. It's coming vertically, and also a line going there. And then I'm going to mirror that across. Maybe I'll do. I don't want to do 3 objects. I'm going to mirror, and the mirror line will be those, but it won't do the 2 at a time. So do that, and then mirror that line across that line there. Okay, and then if we select these profiles, I'm going to extrude them upwards. To the top surface of the bogie. That is to join. And that'll leave enough room there for the axle to come across. One thing obviously we will need to think about is bogie pin mounting points. Okay, I'm going to copy this wheel across. I'm going to mirror this over. Plane 1. Again, create a new body with that. And then I'm going to sketch on the inside of the wheel here. I'm going to take this profile and I'm going to extrude that to that surface. I want them two to join. If I delete, remove that wheel, I'm going to mirror that whole thing across now. Mirror that body across that plane. Okay, so now we've got where our axles are going to be as well. You can think about what space we've got for an arm to come across with the coupler on it. Now looking at that, probably is going to be best to come across the top. I'm going to draw on the, so if I zoom out so you can see, I'm drawing now on this front surface here. I'm going to just draw a rectangle across there. It's going to have to be 1 millimeter deep and 5 millimeters across. And you can see I can bring that out. To join, and then that can hold the coupling arm on there. And you can obviously see there that what space I'm going to have down here now for detailing. Think about coupling. That needs to be a bit further actually, because we need the coupling pocket to the back of the coupling arm to sit on the back of the buffer here. I might have to thicken this up a little bit later, but we'll see how we get on. What we can do, if you've copied along, we can go into the crane, and then we can find the coupler, coupling arm. We copy that, then we can paste it within the bogie here. If we do come up to the top part here, no, should just be able to paste actually. Paste new into the bogie part there. Where is it? There it is. Doesn't matter about its position at the moment because I'm just going to post it there, and then I'm going to split it. So if we can come down here, you can see the coupling arm's now within the bogie, and then work on that coupling arm here. Select the body there. See, that's the coupling arm body. You can use the splitting tool to select that body. I'm going to split it on the back surface of the coupling arm there, and click on OK. So I've now got two parts. I'm going to remove the bit with the circular part on it, and then I'm going to use this part here. I can then move. Okay, so if we bring it up and back in like this. Okay, so it's just overlapping slightly there. Okay, that's pretty centered there. Move it just a tiny bit. Okay, and then I'm going to join that into the bogie there. So combine that body with coupling arm. Okay, and then that all becomes this is now empty, and then you've just got it within the bogie there. So I can then just remove that coupling arm component then. Okay, and now we're back within the bogie. You can see that's a massively long coupling arm, but you know, it's required. You could mount it up here, but there's going to be a lot of detail and stuff coming around. You've got stuff that we could actually mount. Like if I look at the pictures here, all this stuff that's here that would normally mount to the top surface up here, we could mount it to the bogie arm, and then the swing of the bogie then won't get in the way of any of it, and as long as it's high enough above the track, it won't catch the track work there either. Okay, so that's our bogie coupling. As I say, there is going to be that compromise that we're going to have to make with regards to the wheel size. We're not going to be able to put this frame coming across, although what I will do is just draw the silhouette on the side actually, that just like a box shape. So I'll show you, if we come back before we mirrored the bogie over, all the way back, that point. Let's check actually photo of the other end of the bogie, see if it's got the same. It has. So we can do it both sides. We can actually come back even further in the mirroring. So before the bogie actually copied there. So height wise, it's just below where this diagonal part comes down. Create a sketch of the inside surface there. Just a rectangular piece. We're at 1.1 wide, which is the width of the bogie. And then height, I'm going to go for 8. That compare. Comes down a level roughly where the top of the, it's going to have to be about that position. I think 0.2 at the top there. And then rolling extrusion, that's just going to do the outside surfaces. The other one, we come out 0.5 millimeters. About right. Yeah. Tell that to join. And then we'll skip that history all the way to the end. We've now got that shape silhouetted on the side there. It's just adding that little bit extra detail there. Okay, so I think now I'm going to draw bogie mounting point. So I'm going to come onto this inside surface here. Just using a circle initially here. Find the midpoints of the bogie. And I think I'm going to go for a pin about 2 millimeters in diameter. And we're going to extrude this all the way through to the top surface. Okay, turn everything above it, so we want to get rid of the cab. I want to get rid of all this lot as well. Hide the buffers. Hide the chassis. Okay, so the pin's going to be 2 millimeters. So I actually need on this top surface a hole for the mounting point. So yeah, I'm going to go for 1 millimeter there. I'm going to extrude that into the bogie. So you could cut this all the way through. I'm just going to come down like that, I think. Yeah. And then I'm going to draw on the chassis, on the bottom surface of the chassis. I want to project that circle. Okay, let's turn the bogie off now. I'm going to work on the chassis. Right, let's undo that. Undo that. Let's still leave the hole there. Yes. Right, now select the chassis. Draw a sketch on the bottom surface, and then project that circle onto it. now turn the bogey off and that circle will still be there. We can now draw a 4mm circle and then offset on the inside of it by -1mm. That will give us the hole as well for the pin. So we can extrude this into the bogey. Doesn't want to join. Actually, we need to make that slightly smaller and in diameter. I want to extrude it to that surface. Turn the chassis back on so I can see. You can see it's done to 3.274. I'll just change that to 3.2. I'm going to go back into here a second, edit that sketch. I'm going to make the diameter 3.8, just gives a little bit of room. And that's going to be -0.8, -1. Finish that sketch. So we've now got that main pin that comes down. Turn the bogey off. You can see it goes inside the bogey. Okay, so let's turn the bogey off. We're still going to work on the chassis because now we need a slightly bigger surface for it to rub on top of the bogey. So we've got the centre point here. Let's go for 7mm, and then we're going to extrude that downwards. Turn the bogey back on, you can see the surface. We're going to come down to that top surface. Don't want to join. Actually, I do want to join, but I want to turn the bogey off so it doesn't join that. Click on OK. So we're keeping the bogey and the chassis separately there by keeping the bogey invisible, and then you can see what happens there. So we've now got our mounting point. We need to copy this across the mid plane, which I think was that one. So we can do mirror features. I want these two features there. Selecting the middle to mirror plane that across. So we've now got our bogey point, mounting points both ends of the chassis. There's still only one body there. So now I'm sort of thinking ahead with the compromise making of the wheels. That obviously might make this whole thing sit a little bit too high. And if that is the case, what we can do is just reduce the height of this boss here that sits on top of the bogey, and maybe have to drill just a little section out on top of the chassis here for the wheels to sit into. Just to lower the body's height compared to the wheels, so that the buffers then obviously line up with any other rolling stock, because otherwise this will look like it is sitting really tall, I think. But it's something we can sort of look at and compromise with if we need to. What we could do is obviously bring in part of another model to sit next to it to see how it compares. Okay, so I think I'm going to end the video here. So today's lesson, obviously we've added the coupling on the front here and the mounting point for the bogey, and then obviously that's mirrored across. We won't copy the whole bogey across yet until we've added all the details on the end, which are all symmetrical. There's just no point doing it quite yet. So hopefully you've enjoyed that lesson, you've been able to follow along, and we're getting towards having this model completed. Thanks for watching.